Hey guys, so quick note, I just want to let you guys know I will be not uploading a podcast just due to technical difficulties this week, so we'll do one next week, but there is one song I really want to talk about that's really made an impact on my life this week and made me really emotional when I first heard it, and that's Demi Lovato's new single, Sober, that was released this week. And the reason that I'm so emotional about it is that okay, so let me give you a bit of a background. So I have graduated from criminal justice, and I'm a huge advocate for harm reduction, for standing up for people who deal with addiction issues, and everything that comes with addiction issues. And Demi Lovato released a song called Sober, and Demi Lovato has been dealing with addiction issues for a while, and she has been what she calls sober for 6 years this year in March. And based on the song, she explains that she's relapsed, she's lapsed. And what really hurts the most is that I know people, if they haven't already, are sending her messages or thinking down upon her based on this. And it's so awful to think that in today's society we still have these stigmas, this negative attitudes towards addiction issues, towards substance use, towards all of these things. And it's just, it's awful to me because people use substances. I'm not saying people don't use substances for recreation and fun. I'm not saying that. People do. But also people deal with use things such as substances like drinking or marijuana or cocaine or heroin or anything. There's so many addictions out there. There's even gambling addictions, sex addictions. There's so many different addictions, social media, whatever it may be. But some people use them for a serious issue, childhood trauma, mental illness, because, prescriptions are so expensive. Some people resort to using substances that are cheaper to obtain and easier to get. And I think people need assistance. There needs to be more than just we label people in today's society. We always find something to label people with, whether it's, substance use, for example, other behavior. This weekend is LGBTQ Pride Parade in Toronto. People label other people based on their sexuality, what gender they identify themselves with, and it's just so awful to know that this is still happening. And Demi Lovato you're probably not watching this video, but if anybody is watching this video, including her, that deals with addiction or knows somebody who deals with addiction, and anybody who doesn't know anything about addiction, some people don't know. Like, I've talked to people in my family and to people in general who just don't know anything about it. And addiction is a struggle, a lifetime struggle. It's not easy. You can be substance free for years and lapse, and it's a process. It's definitely a lifetime process, and it's a struggle, and it's hard because you've dedicated, you've been dependent on something for so long, or for however long you were dependent on it for. To get away from that it's so hard. It's so hard to do. And I never had an addiction issue, so I'm not saying this based on life experience. I'm based on conversation. I've spoke and had conversations with multiple people who have dealt with substance addiction issues and, gambling issues, and it's hard. And to hear their stories about how it affected them and how they continue to struggle, and it makes me so emotional because I'm so passionate that people deserve to have a dignity, to have respect, to be treated like a human, to not be labeled based on what they think or what they do. And Demi Lovato, for being in the spotlight in the media, to come out with messages, to even explain that she had this to begin with, and to share that information with the rest of the world, is so brave and so amazing. And I know I can't relate on the addiction level of how it must feel to be there, because I would never tell somebody I know how it feels to have an addiction issue. But it's so amazing to have someone in that limelight do that, because it's just, I know there's certain things in life that aren't easy to relate to. It's not like I said, it's almost like we segregate people based on things that aren't the norm in society. And it's so great to see people in limelight make songs like this. And we're taking steps. We are, we have Pride Parade in many countries across the world, and, same-sex marriage is allowed and we have Insight opening up, and Vancouver in Canada is has the first Insight place, and Portugal is doing such great things with addiction issues, and we are going, but we still have these same issues of stigmatization on words, just words like addiction and lapsing and relapsing and substances, and when we think of these words, we think of such negative connotations, and it's awful because it shouldn't be. People have addiction issues. Why are we stigmatizing them when we should be helping with other issues that they may be having going on, like our criminal justice, like people in jail who are dealing with, I'm not going to go into detail because this, like I said, I'm super passionate about this topic and I could go hours and hours, and I know it's a very, I don't want to say controversial, but people do have very strong opinions on this topic, negative or positive. I know a lot of people, I've had conversations, I've had debates with people about who are on the opposite side of me, who think that addiction should be negative, should be segregated. And you know what? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not kind of pushing mine on anybody's, but I believe that people who deal with things shouldn't be labeled by your behavior, by your sexuality, by your identification, by your past, by your whatever. I don't. We're humans. All humans deserve respect. All humans deserve to have dignity. And who are we to say you shouldn't? So my rant is just about how great that her song is, and the message behind it is fantastic, and the song is really good too. You can listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, and she has a lyric video on YouTube as well. I would definitely recommend going to listen to it. And just, my big message is that just love people, and as cheesy as that may sound, we never know what someone is dealing with. So a smile and how are you could mean so much to somebody. That's my rant. I'm not going to be able to post a podcast this week about my top 5 fave, but Demi Lovato's song definitely would have been my number 1 no matter what. When I heard it, I cried like a baby, and it still makes me emotional to hear it. So definitely go check it out. Definitely send her some love. Demi Lovato, if you're watching this, I hope, if that song is mean that you did lapse, I know you're going to get through it. You've got through it before, and you were able. It's just, we're humans. We can make mistakes. We're only human, and it's just a matter of getting back and trying again, and there's no harm in trying, and you've come so far, and like I said, if anybody's suffering with any kind of issue, it's a lifelong process. It definitely is, and I wish everybody all the best. I hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will see you guys here next week. Bye, guys.